Hi, my name is Rebecca Black, and I'm currently in my third year teaching kindergarten in Madera, California. While I am still relatively new to the teaching profession, I feel like a lot of these dispositions reflect my own views on teaching. As I continue to grow and learn as a professional educator, I hope to embody these dispositions to help guide my students on their educational journeys. While I think that all of these dispositions are important to embody as a professional educator, there were a couple that stood out to me. In my district, we have been working on a campaign called We Believe that speaks to that first disposition. I believe that all students can learn and should set and support realistic expectations for student success. As an educator, it is so important to go in with that attitude that all students can learn. If teachers did not believe that their students can learn, then why are they there? An attitude like that is not only a disservice to the students because they don't have an educator that supports them and believes in them, but the educator is also missing out as well on seeing those students grow and just become successful. I also feel like I do a great job of demonstrating professional friendliness, warmth, and genuine caring in my relationships with others while supporting intellectual, emotional, and spiritual support. This is such an important disposition because it reaches every part of our educational careers. We will be forming relationships with administrators, other teachers, students, and parents. Forming relationships with students is important to me because learning takes place when students feel comfortable in their environment. As I get to know my students, they begin to feel more comfortable in our classroom, and we can go to the next level of learning to make a long-lasting impact rather than learning just for the sake of taking a test. In addition to forming relationships for educational purposes, I want my students to know that I am there to support them and cheer them on even after they've left my classroom. Some of my students are and have been going through some really difficult things. I want my students to know that they can count on me to care about them and support them. This comes from experiences in my own academic career when I had teachers go above and beyond to support my family when we were going through some really difficult things, and that has made a lasting impact on me. Something that I do need to work on is being sensitive to individual learning and social needs of students and embrace cultural diversity of the community. Although I feel like I do a great job of incorporating a variety of cultures and celebrating the diversity of my students, I do need to continue to improve the way that I'm giving individual support to my students. I do know that this is an important thing for students, but it has been difficult to incorporate and make the time to do so. I am working to support all students in learning, but sometimes that means that students need individualized support in addition to whole class learning time. One way that I aim to provide that kind of support to my students is through guided reading. Students are able to work with others at their own instructional level, and I can focus on teaching specific skills that are relevant to that group of students. I also had an educational aide for half a day in the past that would work with students while I was teaching a lesson to the rest of the class. This year, that is a resource that has been cut back in our district, and so now I'm trying to find ways to make time for that individual support without the extra assistance in my classroom. There is no one description of what a professional educator looks like. I do think that a professional educator is someone who takes care of themselves and puts forward a professional image. Dress codes for educators vary greatly between cities and districts, but educators should still be accountable for what they're wearing to work. A professional educator should wear clothes that are comfortable to move in the classroom, but they should fit and be in a functional condition. As professional educators, we have many duties both inside and outside of the classroom, and clothing should not interfere or limit those duties. Educators should also behave in a professional manner. We should work to embody the dispositions from this survey to set an example for the educators around us as well as for our students. Professional educators should act with the students at the forefront of their decision making. As teachers, we are here to support students and guide them on their academic journeys. We should aim to help students be successful at every turn. Policies and teaching strategies change often, but if we focus on supporting our students and helping them be successful, then we are doing our jobs as educators.